Episode 16 of the Unmuzzled Sports Podcast. I'm Gary Ray. Wow, what another amazing weekend of sports we were blessed with. Tonight's episode, we got Bo Bichette bids goodbye to the Toronto Blue Jays and signs with the Mets. Kyle Tucker, the Jays missed out on him as well. He ended up signing with the Dodgers. Then we've got the Natty coming up. We got Indiana taking on the University of Miami in their own backyard. We got the Niners getting blown out by the Seahawks. We don't want to talk about that a whole lot, though. We'll have the Texans, their 5 turnovers against the Patriots, 3 turnovers ended up costing them. The Patriots are on to the AFC Championship. The Rams beat the Bears in a thriller in OT in the Windy City. We've also got the Lincolns at the Warriors. What a game that was, a statement game by the St. Mary's Lincolns. Then the Lincolns took on the Strathroy Rockets and took them down Saturday night. I hate to say it, but the Bills just break our hearts. The Bills blew it in Denver, or you can blame the refs. We'll talk about both. And then last but not least, we're going to have Rhett Chessel with Rhett's Roundup. He's going to talk a little bit about Stratford Lincoln's game and then the Chatham Maroons win over the Elmira Sugar Kings there on Saturday night. All that and more on the Unmuzzled Sports Podcast.
6 guys, 3 sports, no leash. This is the Unmuzzled Sports Podcast. Football, hockey, and baseball, the way it's meant to be. Loud, raw, and completely unfiltered.
Shank, how are you, brother?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I'm a bit red and sore and itchy, but hey, that's life after a week vacation in the sun.
Yeah, Halzer and I were thinking about you, and you and Clarky were down south sitting on swim-up bar stools, wondering why the hell we're ever going back up to the north and all the snow.
Yeah, if I had my way, I'd live down there, but
I hear you. I hear you. Halzer, how are you, my brother?
I'm good, man. All things being equal, I'm good after, another gut punch on Saturday evening. At least I know I got some free chicken wings coming up later on in my future, thanks to the St. Mary's Lincolns. So it wasn't a total loss. I mean, the good thing about being a 40-year Bills fan is that, you're really hard pressed to throw a loss at me that I haven't seen before.
Yeah, it's just when you thought that you'd seen it all, you watch the Bills get their hearts ripped out of them. And then a game-ending play there, or potential game-ending play in Chicago with Caleb Williams. My God, we'll have to talk about that. That was a circus play. Just crazy, crazy stuff. So, all right, let's get into it. I'm going to play stuff from our sponsors at the Arden Park, and we'll be right back with Trending.
This trending segment brought to you by Best Western Plus Arden Park Hotel, located at 552 Ontario Street, Stratford. Located steps from the Festival Theatre, while offering first-class accommodations with an extensive range of services, including conference center, banquet facilities, and heated indoor pool.
Big baseball news. My goodness, no more Bo Bichette. Halzer, what do you think of Atkins and Shapiro? They really didn't want him back. We don't know what the numbers were that they offered him, but do you think it really looked like they wanted Bo back?
Well, I won't go so far as to say they didn't want him back. I don't think, but that may be the truth. But he was certainly no more than a fallback. They were chasing Tucker. They wanted Tucker. They realized they've got Springer and Varsho contracts running out at the end of 26. So what looks like largesse this year is actually a need in 27. It was a really smart move to go after him. We're going to talk about him in a minute. So you don't get him. So you pivot to Bo before. And, the Mets just swooped right in and said, before anybody's got a chance to pivot to Bo, we're just going to offer him an absolutely ridiculous amount of money. Like, put it this way, the offer, or so I read, the offer on the table from the Phillies was 7 for $200, which is shade under $30 million a year. And the Mets swoop in after Tucker signs with 3 years at 126, which is $42 million a year. And, you know, what is Bo going to do? I mean, you know, he probably sprained a wrist getting his pen out of his pocket to sign that contract. I mean, somebody says, I'll give you you know what I mean? It's a ridiculous offer for a guy like you sign it. I can even picture the guys going, you know what? If you sign this right now, we'll give you $42 million a year for 3 years. Crazy.
Yeah.
It's a crazy number. People say, is he worth it? Isn't he worth it? Well, he just signed for it. So I guess that makes him worth it. You're worth what people are ready to pay for you. You know, I learned a long time in retail, there's the value of something, and then there's the price that people are willing to pay for it. And in this particular case, it's $126 million for a singles and doubles primarily hitter who's playing out of position. And that's the thing that's crazy about it, Shanker. He's playing third base.
Exactly.
What do you think of all of this, Shanker?
Well, going back to Halser's point about the overpaying, we are dealing with the New York Mets, who are notorious for overpaying guys who then fall flat on their face. But getting to Halser's point, yeah, like you just traded for Marcus Semien months ago. So now you bring in Bichette, who's a middle infielder, and you already have Semien at second, Lindor at short. So,
and don't forget, Shanker, they signed Polanco too, and they're moving him from second to play first
base. So now you have
because they lost Pete Alonso.
Exactly. So now you either got to tell Bichette you're going to DH, or you play third base. And I can't see him being any good at third base, but he is a professional athlete. So I just think the Mets panicked here because once Tucker was off the board, Bichette's the last big bat out there. I just think the Mets panicked and overpaid for a guy that they didn't have to.
It sure as heck does sound like that they panicked, because when you're in a market like the Mets are, they want to see their stars. They want their Alonsos. They want their Sotos. At the end of the day, people pay to see their stars. And they needed some star power. Now, no one's going to confuse Bo Bichette with a superstar like, you know, Juan Soto or anyone like that. But he still will put bums in the seats. You know, he's still going to have guys cross the plates, like you said, Halser, with the singles and doubles. He's not going to wow you with his arm in the outfield. He was like an average or below average shortstop. What do they think he's going to be on the hot corner? So that's going to be interesting. And he's never played third before. But
not professional, at least, anyway. And here's the other thing, too. Here's the question I have for the Mets. Like, this is, you're right, Shanker. This is the move of a desperate team. Yeah. But here's the question that I really want to know. If you're prepared to overpay, why wouldn't you overpay for Bellinger? It put him in a position where you actually have a need. You're right. They got Semien, and who did they give up? They gave up Brandon Nimmo.
Yeah.
Their center fielder. And there's Bellinger sitting there going, I want more term. I want more term from the Yankees. He wants 7 years. The Yankees are stuck on 5. You could swoop right in and pick him up and replace Nimmo, get your bat in the order, and actually fill a defensive spot. So that's the part. I mean, I get the overpay. I'm a billionaire. I don't care. But why would you overpay for the guy you already have in a surplus of position and not get the guy that you actually need?
Well, here's my thing. Why go after Bichette? Look at the Mets starting rotation right now. It's garbage. Like you just signed Devin Williams a couple months ago. Why not go after Framber Valdez or Ranger Suarez? Even both those guys, and overpay for them to have a 1-2 punch. Like their best pitcher right now is Clay Holmes. And that's not saying much. Oh, sorry, Sean Manaea too. But two guys that are injury prone.
I think it's still Holmes, to be honest.
Yeah. So this team is, I don't get it.
You're right. They're good. Like they're good, but they're 3s and 4s. They're not 1s and 2s.
Exactly.
And that's so, you know, I agree with you, man. They better do something. Otherwise, you know, that division's too tough to win. without having a solid pitching staff. Philadelphia and Atlanta is going to be a lot better. And watch out for Miami. They're getting better every year. That's a tough division, dude.
Oh, exactly.
All right. Moving right along, another guy that the Jays missed out on, Kyle Tucker, goes to the Dodgers on a monster deal. Now, do you guys think that the Dodgers are just willing to overpay and worry about, tomorrow, next year before the salary cap comes in? He signs a 4-year, $240 million, $60 million AAV contract. It's just mind-boggling how money is no object in LA. Schenker, what are your thoughts about them signing Kyle Tucker?
Well, I don't like it because I just don't like this super team like the Dodgers always try to do. And our friend Jeff Burrell had it on today. The Dodgers have spent $2.2 billion in the last 3 years on contracts. And you wonder why there's going to be a strike after this season. And my other thing is, did they really need Tucker? They really don't have room for. They do have room for him in the outfield, but they don't need him. But I guess if you can afford the luxury tax, and speaking of luxury tax, their luxury tax is more than 10 other teams, the bottom 10 teams in the league. Yeah.
Crazy. Money's no object with those guys. Halser, does that surprise you that the Dodgers went after him this hard?
No, it doesn't, because as long as, when we're talking about this work stoppage, don't get me started about that, because my real issue here is the deferred money. That's fine if you want to defer the money, but that money should actually be on an AAV like it is in hockey. And that's a problem they need to fix. Everybody wants a salary cap. I'm not sure I like a salary cap because I'm a Jays fan. My team's got the second highest payroll or third or whatever it is. I don't want a salary cap either. But what I do want to see is that every contract is averaged out annually so that you're paying an accurate amount of tax. And I'll give an example. Ohtani is being paid $2 million a year during the stretch that he plays, and then we'll be receiving somewhere in the god crazy nature of a $500 million one-time payout when he goes home to Japan. Not only is he saving a bunch of money in taxes himself personally, but this is a complete and utter circumvention of the tax. They should be paying him $70 million a year against the cap. If you want to defer it and pay it later, that's your business, but it's still got to count against the cap. And their payroll is actually closer to $500 million in a season because of all the money they're deferring on a annual basis. So I don't know. I think it's about 50 million of that contract for Tucker is being deferred, not as much as the Ohtani case. But this is just crazy. They should, it's 110% tax because of two reasons. They're over the top threshold and they've done it 3 years consecutively. Every contract they sign above that number has 110% tax. So just double up whatever they're going to pay him this year in tax. So the money just goes off the chart, and yet the Dodgers keep making money.
Yeah, that's the crazy part about it. Like during the World Series, it was interesting. I'm sure everybody saw all the Japanese advertising for banks and all the different products behind home plate. They were talking about, I forget the exact numbers, but I was listening to the Fox broadcast, and they were talking about how the Dodgers have made back most of the money that they've parlayed for Ohtani. Now, a lot of it's because they're able to go over to Japan and get all those advertisers that most people can't go out and get. But at the end of the day, their business model isn't as broken as a lot of people think it may be, because they are able to go out there and they got all these Japanese players, and they are able to entice Japanese sponsors to bring their money and advertising to North America. So
I heard, sorry, Razor, just to finish that thought.
Yeah.
Which is a great point, by the way. But what I have heard is that per capita, they have as many Japanese fans, the Dodgers do, as they have, fans locally. So, you're right. Yeah. They've absolutely got the country of Japan. They all watch Ohtani. They love him as well. They should. He's kind of their version of a Wayne Gretzky in our country from years back. Yeah. And, he is a hot commodity, and they are making money hand over fist, pumping that name out there. And like I said, they're still making money, but it's breaking baseball. So there was an interesting article on, I think, Yahoo today saying, and I think if I could quote, it says, the Dodgers don't mean to break baseball, but they're probably going to.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same as the Yankees years ago when they had their own with the Yes Network.
Yep. They were the only ones,
money
right?
Coming in, and hey, we'll pay you whatever you want because we're going to win because we have all this money.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't blame them, right?
Oh, no, you can't. They're exposing a loophole like the Jays are doing it now. They went and did all those renovations and they have all these new revenue streams. They're offering $20 tickets to teenagers and 20 somethings to get them to the park. Well, they know they're going to spend $50 or $100 on food and booze once they're there. And all of that money. And with the team surprisingly doing so well last year, they've made hundreds of millions of dollars to tool the team and spend it on the team. So good on them. But okay, let's have some word from our sponsors with TNT, and we'll be right back with End Zone and Fantasy.
End Zone and Fantasy, brought to you by TNT Security Inc., where security meets reliability. Call Todd Schmidt today for a security quote on your concert, dance, sporting, and alcohol event, business, property, or mobile patrol security.
Big game tonight down at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Florida. You got number 1 Indiana University taking on number 10 Miami Hurricanes, who are basically playing a home game. It's going to be interesting, though, because all the Indiana supporters that have never had a reason to come to the football games, they said that they're now all of a sudden showing up. I don't know if you guys saw the game, the Fiesta Bowl there last week, where I think about 80% of the crowd was Indiana fans. So I don't know if they're going to control it or not tonight, but that's going to be really interesting. But before we get into everything, I was reading something today that's really interesting. The ACC that the Hurricanes play in, they allow all their teams to keep all the playoff money that they make, unlike the Big Ten or the SEC, where they got to split whatever they bring in with the league. So what has happened is the Hurricanes made $4 million from the NCAA for just making the playoffs. They made another $4 million for beating Texas A&M. They made another $6 million for beating Ohio State. And they made another $6 million off of beating Ole Miss. Then you throw in another $12 million because they get $3 million a game stipends for travel expenses, travel and hotel. So it's a grand total of $32 million that Miami Hurricanes get to keep all to themselves and don't have to share it with the ACC due to all their playoff success. They signed head coach Mario Cristobal in 2021 for $80 million over 10 years. They've almost got half of that back in one playoff season. So good on them. 3 matchups to watch tonight. The first one is a big one. The Indiana defensive line average weight is 278 pounds. The biggest player is Tucker at 302 pounds. The Miami offensive line averages 331 pounds. Bell and Cooper are the biggest linemen for the Canes at 345 pounds. Folks, that's a 53-pound average difference between the Miami offensive line and the Indiana defensive line. So that's going to be really interesting to watch how that all plays out. The other thing I want to talk about is Ruben Bain and company versus Mendoza. Mendoza's had 8 TDs in 2 games, 5 total incompletions. He's got more TDs than he does incompletions the past couple of games. He's just playing lights out. So you got Bain and Akeem Masidor, the best pass rush duo in the country, coming at Mendoza tonight. So it's going to be interesting to see how all of that plays out. And the third and last thing that I found is going to be interesting is the third down defense versus the third down offense. The Hoosiers offense is an outrageous 20 for 28 on third down in these playoffs. Like they're just playing lights out. Miami's going to want to chew up the clock to try and keep Mendoza and company off the field. So it's going to be interesting to see how Beck can do that, because in the semis, they went 13 of 22 on third and fourth downs, piling up an absurd 23 minutes of time of possession advantage. So what are you two guys thinking of tonight's contest? I'll start with you, Halser. Who do you got tonight?
Well, I'm taking Indiana. That's the short answer, and it's not real brave to do so. But at the end of the day, the one thing that I really love about this matchup is the swagger. Both these teams have the swagger. The IU has a swagger like we're the number one team in the country. We beat OSU. We crushed everybody in the playoffs. We're the best team. They've got that swag. I've seen that swagger before. I know what it looks like, and it's pretty tough to when you can back it up with the kind of play that they've had, especially when you got a guy who's probably a top 2 or 3 pick in the NFL draft playing quarterback for you. And it's against a team who also has a ton of swagger. They know they're the underdog. They don't care. They love that feeling. You go ahead and keep telling us we're an underdog. We're just going to keep punching people in the face. And so I think it's going to be a great collision of the old, use the cheesy old irresistible force against the immovable object, where you got two teams just full of piss and vinegar, and they're just going to smash. And that's the beauty of watching the guys that aren't pros, is that a lot of that emotion means something at this level. So I like Indiana, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if Miami won the game.
Shanker, who do you got tonight?
I got Indiana. And depending on, I think the key player for Miami is Fletcher, the running back. If he can get any room, they're going to keep it close. If not, I think it could be over by the end of the third. Indiana's so strong, and they seem to get better and better every week. Now, the only thing I'm disappointed in is that this game should have been played on a Friday night. Like, I don't understand why the NCAA can't figure this out. And I get it, Monday night, there's nothing else on, but I don't know. I just think it's going to be, all Indiana, despite the Miami home game.
Do you guys think there's a layoff problem, like the length of time? It didn't seem to bother Indiana when they missed a cut, like 25 days or something like that. But it's been a week and a half since these guys played. Do you guys think there's going to be any issue with the layoff for either team?
I think it's going to be a slow game to start. Yeah, I do agree with you.
I don't think so, Halser. Miami's been playing like this is the biggest layoff that they've had, because they just squeaked in and have been playing, it seems, every week. They've had to go the long way, unlike Indiana, who had almost a month off. But I think Cignetti's got these guys primed, locked, and loaded. I don't think anything is going to distract these guys. And they've got so many guys that I think I've talked about it on last week's podcast. The average age of the Hoosiers is 23 years old. The average age of the Green Bay Packers right now is 25. Like, these are a bunch of men playing for Indiana because the 5-stars didn't want to go to IU. And so Cignetti had to go after guys that weren't necessarily 5-star recruits and turn these guys into football players. And boy, has he ever. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. 7:30. We're taping this on Monday night. 7:30 p.m. on Monday is the Natty. I'm just wearing the Hurricanes gear because I have it, not because I think they're going to win. I actually think and hope that Indiana wins because I love everything about Fernando Mendoza. I just think he's an outstanding human. Miami native. I really hope that he's able to pull it off and then become the first pick, probably to the Raiders in the spring draft. So
hey, one more thing. The cheapest ticket right now, $3,900 to get in.
Yeah. Yeah,
they were going upwards of like $10,000, $12,000. Like, it's crazy how much this is.
Well, I just saw, good point, Shanker. I saw that tickets in the lower bowl in the premium seats, and we're talking food and pregame, after game parties, $25,000 a ticket. And then they had suites at the 50-yard line were for like 18 to 25 people. Same thing, food, parties, parking, everything, accommodations. They were going for 1.4 million.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's the highest ticket price in North American sports. It's even more expensive than the Super Bowl. And they've just caught lightning in a bottle. No wonder the NCAA wants to get more teams into it. They want to jack it up to 16 or 24 teams, but that's going to be interesting. That's
I saw another thing today where they said how Taylor Swift to the Chiefs, how they keep showing Taylor Swift, and they compare her to Michael Irvin jumping around on the sidelines for the U.
with the belt. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, if you get a chance, go on to YouTube and watch the Saturday Night Live skit that they did about Michael Irvin. It's hilarious. They had a guy imitating him. Fantastic.
Jesus.
Okay, let's get into NFL roundup. Saturday night, the Seahawks, oh my God, they just whooped my Niners behind. This glass slipper fell off of our foot with the Niners. The Seattle defense, you got to tip your cap to them. It was all downhill after the opening kickoff when Rashid Shaheed returned it 95 yards for a 6-0 lead on the first play of the game. But the Seattle defense, they just put the clamps on the 49ers offense. And they said that Fox did a tracker on Brock Purdy, and they said that he traveled 413 yards running around trying to get away from Seattle's defensive linemen. So just crazy. Kenneth Walker was the big hero of the night. 19 carries, 116 yards, 3 tutties. Seattle now hosts the NFC Championship next week at 6:30 with the Rams coming in there. So not much needs to be talked about that. I don't even want to talk about my Niners getting thrashed.
Seattle was dealt a blow because Zach Charbonneau, he's going to miss next week's game.
Yeah, he's out for the season. What did he have? Knee surgery, or I forget what I was reading.
So that's kind of a big blow to Seattle, right? Because they had a 2-headed monster going on there.
Yeah.
So now the Rams just have to just focus on one guy. So
yeah, Kenneth Walker's the all cow now. So
the thing, I think it really makes a statement to the Eagles too, doesn't it? I mean, you look what San Francisco did to Philadelphia.
Oh yeah.
And then they walk up against a team that's the number 1 seed and they get absolutely destroyed. I mean, let's face it. They said before the Eagles game, they were using linebackers 5, 6, and 7. They went through their defense to start the game. And I think I had even heard of maybe 2 of those guys.
Yeah.
It's like an old movie. Like, it's like, who are these fucking guys? Right. Nobody knows who they are. They got so many injuries on defense. So you knew you were kind of hoping and maybe cheering for them a little bit, but you kind of knew Seattle was going to throttle them. They just didn't have the hope, and when they run the opening kickoff back and you're behind the 8 ball, I mean, the drama of that game lasted about 13 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. You go from the upset or the pain and suffering of the Bills loss immediately, at least we were never in the game. And so I felt good going, okay, well, I can work on the podcast. I can do other things. I had one eye on the TV. I didn't really have to watch it the way I was watching with the Bills. So Sunday, 3:00 game, New England takes down the Houston Texans 28-16. Houston had 5 turnovers, 4 picks by CJ Stroud, and 1 fumble by Woody Marks. Drake May threw 3 tutties. He had a pick, 4 fumbles, but 2 of them they recovered. So the Texans are now 0-7 in the division round. The Houston D did their part. They held New England to just 105 yards of rushing and kept them 3 of 14 on 3rd downs. But it was just CJ Stroud. I hate to throw a guy under the bus, but he was the missing link. And if he could have just, kept the turnovers to a minimum and played a little bit cleaner game, it might have been Houston going into Denver next weekend. What did you guys see of that one? Here, I'll start with you, Halser.
Well, there's just no excuse for the way he played. I mean, we've seen teams over the years, Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl with a scoring defense, Baltimore with Trent Dilfer. I mean, and there's a great example right there is how you should compare this Houston team to that Baltimore team. Trent Dilfer had one rule, okay? Don't do anything stupid. All right, take
Won't
a
lose
sack.
us the game.
3 and out and punt is okay. But I'm trying to make plays, and I'm trying to make plays, but he just looked lost. He looked almost, I don't want to say scared, but he looked really nervous. Let's try and stay positive.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, dude? You've got an all-world defense. That's the best defensive line in recent memory. That between Anderson and Hunter coming either way, those guys were making incredible plays. They're stripping the ball. All you had to do was just take care of the football. And in 2 weeks, he had like 7 turnovers.
Yeah.
And it's that. How good is Houston's defense when you fumble the ball 5 times and still only gave up 6 points to Pittsburgh? Okay, but it gets tougher as you go through the playoffs. If you're going to turn the ball over, a team like New England's going to crush you. And there wasn't really much doubt there. Every time Stroud turned the ball over, it was just a joke. Just hang on to the damn ball and let our defense win the game for us.
Shanker, what did you think of that game?
Well, with no Nico Collins and then Schultz getting hurt early in the game, that pretty much cooked Houston. And to tell you how bad the turnovers were, Drake May only had 179 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. Like, he didn't have to do a whole lot. He just interception. Okay, I'll just throw the ball here, touchdown. Like, so Houston made this an easy game for New England.
Yeah, because of their turnovers by Stroud, mostly.
Yeah, field position, like, it couldn't have got any better for New England going into Denver next week.
Yeah, and that's what really hurts. We're going to talk about the Bills. We haven't forgot about the Bills. We're going to be talking about them and chew on that. Graffer's fired up, so hopefully he's calmed down about the game yesterday. But let's move on to the other barn burner. It was actually kind of boring. Clarky was texting us from down in the Dominican, and he was asking us at halftime there, is it a good game? Like, I think it was 10-10, and he was asking, I'm like, it's all right. Well, the fourth quarter, made up for it. Man, did it get exciting. The Rams got away with one. I think that, Stafford, he was off his game. I think a lot of it was because of the weather, but he just completed 20 of 42 passes for 268 yards. No tutties by Matt Stafford, 4 sacks. And I was just, really surprised with the play calling by the Rams. There was no need to run the ball on critical 3rd and 10 with 2:07 left in the fourth. Like, you had the 2-minute warning coming. Even if Stafford threw an incomplete pass, it was going to stop anyways at the 2-minute warning. And so I was just really surprised with the choice of play calling. But the other thing that I was surprised with McVay is that he didn't use any timeouts on the ensuing touchdown drive, leaving the Rams no time to really respond before the end of regulation. And then rather than try and get a little bit closer, like, it wasn't a chip shot. I think it was like a 40-yarder to tie the game up. But rather than, try and get a little bit closer, he takes 2 deep shots, like, back to back. And I'm like, dude, you are playing with fire here. Like, if one of these gets picked off or something happens, you're going to regret it. But they ended up getting away with it. We'll start with you, Shanker. What did you see of that game?
Well, I just think the Bears, they play with fire, right? The last couple weeks, they get down by a lot, and then they try to make the big comeback at the end of the game. And I think this time just bit them in the ass. You can't start slow and try to play catch up all in one quarter. Like they got away with it against Green Bay, and it didn't work yesterday. Williams, well, that last touchdown to Komet was a miracle and a great pass, but have you
ever seen a quarterback? What was unbelievable? Have you ever seen a quarterback sprinting the wrong direction before turning
like 10,
and throwing
yards
on his back foot? Like, he threw. They were at the 14-yard line, and it was 4th and 4. And he ends up having to drift a pass from the 40-yard line after sprinting the wrong way. Like, it was just absolute cinema. Like, you couldn't have drawn up a more miracle play if you had tried. But
no, exactly.
Halser, what did you think of that game?
Well, what really stuck out for me was how they absolutely wasted the Bears absolutely wasted such a good effort by their defense. I mean, their secondary is not good. It's been a hole of that defense all year long. And of all teams that should have been able to exploit that, Stafford and his two wideouts and two really good tight ends and a running game, that had the makings of a shootout. Only if Chicago could stay with them. I thought the Rams would score 30 easy, to be honest with you. But Chicago's defense showed up and played fantastic and kept them in the game so that they could make that circus play at the end of what a weird, we're going to talk about some refereeing later on when we talk about the Bills, but I just want to reference that play, though, where the
With Devontae Adams,
the DB and the receiver were locked. And then when the ball showed up to Kmet, that DB was 4 yards from him. And if that's not a push off, then I don't know. You know what I mean? And so we're seeing hand checking, and some of it's being called and some of it isn't. And Buffalo obviously was on the wrong end of the is versus the isn't. And so it just proves that, those plays are starting to become like the charge versus block in basketball, where it really is running down into guesswork by the referees now.
Well, what about the play there with Devontae Adams, where he caught it, fell to the ground, and his knee was on the ground, and then he gets the ball ripped away from him, and the Bears recovered it, and they ruled him down by contact because his knee had hit the ground, and even the announcer said, "I hope you Bills fans aren't watching this call." So
we were.
Yeah.
And like I said, we'll get into that more later on when I build up some steam.
Exactly. All right. So as we said, the Rams go to Seattle Sunday at 6:30 for the NFC Championship game. We're going to combine Buzzin' with Clarko and Chester's Perch because Clarky's hopefully trying to get home from Dominican tonight. I don't know if he's going to with the snowstorm in Toronto, but stay safe, my friend. So we're going to combine Buzzin' with Clarko and Chester's Perch, and we'll be right back with Chris Chessel.
Buzzin' with Clarko, a weekly roundup of the Stratford Warriors with Jason Clark, brought to you by Nick Hishin of Indy Mortgage, the independent mortgage company serving customers from coast to coast with access to well over 50 lending options available. Give Nick a call as he works for you, not the banks. FISRA license number 12403.
You can't put a price on a good time.
Chester's Perch, the Lincoln's Report, brought to you by the Boathouse Stratford, located at 30 York Street. Come see us down at the Avon River for pedal boats, kayaks, canoes, Juliet boat tours, and bike rentals. Enjoy great food and ice cream at the Riverside Patio Restaurant. Pet friendly and operated by the Herr family since 1965.
Chester's in the house. Look at that background. Lovely shot of the Almond Memorial. How are you, Chester?
I am wonderful, guys. Happy Monday. Yeah, that was my seat on Friday night. I thought I would take a pic from there and
nice.
show the almond in all its glory, right?
What a great night. I introduced Halser to our personal bartenders. Shout out to Downey, and Robbie was working. He had the uniform on, but we also had Staggy there. So it was a good night had by it was good to see. I saw on the website that there was almost 1,200 people there for first responders night. So that was great. Saluting all the first responders. Chester, one of your boys, is a first responder. Shout out to him. And it was just a good night, even though it didn't quite turn out the way the home team wanted it to. It was just a real positive night, and I'm really looking forward to the next one there. Unfortunately, it's on Super Bowl Sunday in Stratford, but what did you think of that game, Chester?
Well, you know what? They're always going to be good games in so many different ways, right? Overall, I thought it was a bit of a sloppy game at times. I think both teams were. I found the puck was just bouncing everywhere. There was some really good scoring opportunities in the first period. Stratford had a couple beauties on the rebounds, and the puck was bouncing over their stick. stuff like that. And there was some bad turnovers, I think, from both teams as well. Just sloppy play altogether, and could have been a combination of just the pace of the game on that small ice. I think was really exciting to watch. I mean, there's no room out there, and I think a lot of the guys, kind of like the game in St. Mary's, things get on you quickly, and it takes a couple periods sometimes, a period and a half, 2 periods before you can adjust. But all in all, it's just such an entertaining game, such a great atmosphere. Good crowd again, and we had some bad weather again Friday night. I think we
Right.
could have easily been in that 13 to 1400 range with a little bit of help from Mother Nature. But I thoroughly enjoyed the game. Regardless of maybe it wasn't perfect game, but really good to win, obviously. But yeah, it was a
Yeah.
good time.
Let's start it off with Lincoln Moore. My God, the kid just keeps going. He steps out from the corner, rifles the wrister over the shoulder of Bender. That got you guys up 1-0. Voortman assisted on that. And then 8 seconds later, you had Stratford's hottest player, or one of their hottest players, Wildfong, got a 17th of the year from Arnold and Haylock. And it was just what the crowd needed, because after that Lincoln Moore goal, you're just thinking to yourself, holy shit, is this kid going to, light it up again? And then Wildfong got the crowd into it so quickly with his response 8 seconds later. So what did you see on the opening period, Halser?
Well, I thought the opening period was a bit of a snoozer, and it needed those goals to liven it up a bit. Both teams seemed to come out really cautiously, really defensively. They were skating, don't get me wrong, but it was like dump it out, dump it out. There wasn't much cohesion. And to Chess's point about the ice, we talked about that briefly, looking down on the newly flooded ice before the game, and there was a lot of ruts in the near end that Stratford started, and it was tough going there because you could see the puck was bouncing all over the place. So that didn't help the fact that it was tough to put three passes together, both for the tight checking and good speed of both teams, and because the ice wasn't great either. But I thought it was fair. There was at least one a crossbar off a tip shot near the end of the period. I forget who shot it now. So, I thought the period ended like it should, 1-1 tie, pretty even. And I think the shots were only 5-4 or something.
Yeah, it was 5-4. I think it was Elzinga that let that wrister go, went off the crossbar. You guys could have had a 3-1 lead. Like, you had a crossbar, you had a post.
Declan had one too, that just a nice little pass across the crease, and Bender got his pad down. But that one was a beautiful play too. So yeah, it could have been definitely a different outcome at the end of the first, but it was awesome when Wildfong tied it up there 8 seconds later. You could just everybody woke up, everybody was in the game, and that got things going pretty good. So, and then the second, right, like Stratford, back and forth again for a good portion of the period, and then Frayne got one again. Not a huge goal scorer, Hayden Frayne.
Yeah,
kind of from
one
deep in the
timer.
point.
That was a rocket.
It was a great shot through some traffic, and then 3 minutes later, Chase McDougal comes off the bench. Beautiful feed from Lincoln Moore, and he scores a dandy goal. Yeah, so that period, you got two guys who don't score a lot of goals, scored some huge goals, and the energy again when Chase scored that goal, the Lincolns got their energy back, and it carried right into the first couple minutes of the third period, obviously.
Hodkinson goes down the left-hand side 32 seconds into the third period and lets a wrist shot go. Ben wants to have that one back. You guys go up 3-2. McGregor and Kelp get assists on that one. And then you guys score a minute later. Macaulay gets one, and that was a one-timer where it was a giveaway, and Clark threw it over to him, and Macaulay just did the one-timer, and there was no chance on that one by Bender.
No.
And then that had you guys up 4-2.
Yeah, and you had that feeling like, okay, this could get away here, right? 4-2 early in the third. The momentum was all our way, right? But it was only a minute and a half later, Quinn Kipfer scores. Here we go, right? Back to a one-goal game, and it was just that was the way the whole third period went. And I thought Quinn's goal was a beauty too, right? He just came in and fired it, much like Ryan's goal. Ryan, it's never a bad idea to shoot the puck, right? Early in the period like that, you know what? Sure, it's not a high percentage shot, but fire the puck hard on net. Good things can happen, whether or not you score or not. You got guys coming hard to the net for rebounds, And I thought Kiffer's goal was similar to that. He kind of was in the high slot, I believe, and
Yeah,
let a
use the
real nice
D.
shot go. And yeah,
Yeah,
never a
use
bad thing. You got two guys coming from the from the corners for the rebounds, and shoot the puck, boys, when you can. I think that was great.
yeah,
And
ripped it
unfortunately,
over Booth Housego's blocker.
uh,
And but to Colby's defense, he was late picking it up because Kipfer, I think, kind of surprised him a little bit with the quick shot. And guys, you don't have to beat every player. Use that
no,
last guy
that's
as a
right.
screen and let
That's
her
right.
rip.
Yeah, and the St.
So
Mary's D backed off a bit and gave him that shot, right?
yeah,
On a perfect day, and our D's been playing really well the last 10, 12 games for sure. But there was a couple lapses in that game, and they left a little bit of gaps, and Stratford took advantage of it, and they had some great shots. And like you said, it's never a bad idea to shoot, and it was good, right? And then even the game winner, right? Pierce Huey he made his debut at the Allman, and
got
on
his
the road,
first.
and he was. I found out after the game he was back and forth throwing up throughout that game.
Oh no.
A little stomach flu, but he stuck with it, never missed a shift, and he gets rewarded with the game winner. A nice low hard shot from the point again. I don't think Bender saw it through some traffic, and
No.
ended up chasing him out of the net, unfortunately.
And it wasn't his fault. Like I
No,
haven't talked to Coach Williams, but you're right. Like that there was a lot of traffic crisscrossing in front of Bender, but it was just the absolute poor timing because Kipfer brings them to within a goal, and then a minute and a half later, like you said, Huey gives you guys the 2-goal cushion again, and I think Willie just wanted to try and shake the team alive and do something, not because Bender should have had that goal from Huey. I think it was more like I got to do something to shake these guys up.
I think it was definitely why he did it, and I think it worked, right? Because about a minute after they did that, Quinn scored again.
Yep.
And we were back to a 1-goal game, right? So
yeah, scramble off the shot from the point.
Yeah. So, and then, Haji got a nice empty netter to seal the deal shorthanded and, quiet down the Stratford crowd. So,
and you know what? And Halser, I want to hear what you think, but I give it to him. Haji's one of the hottest guys, if not the hottest guy in the Go right now. And after he scored it, he went over to the glass there in Stratford and was doing I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything. Like, I just love his confidence, and he's playing well, and good on him. I'm pretty sure Stratford will be using that as bulletin board material for the next game, but hey, prove him wrong, right? Don't let him score. So what do you think, Halser?
At the end of the day, firstly, the kind of kid that I hear he is, I think he was maybe more looking for noise from the Lincoln's fans. He's done that before. I remember in London, he scored a big goal and skated right over to the Lincoln's fans and did the same thing. I think it was more looking for noise from his fans than it was, a real, but he's a teenager. Who knows what he was thinking at the time, you know what I mean? But that's now, including the Strathroy game, that's 11 points from 5 games since he came back from a December in which he was player of the month. So, I mean, he's just absolutely playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah.
Had another big game the next night in Strathroy that I know Chess is going to talk about, but it was a typical Hodkinson goal at the end. It was shorthanded, hard work, check the player, knock the guy off the puck. Instead of panicking, patience with the puck, knowing his time and space, works his way out. Didn't even worry about getting to the red line. Smart enough to know I don't need to get over the red line. We're shorthanded. And as soon as he got an open line to shoot at the net, he knocked it right in the middle of the net, like cool as can be. So, that is a Hodkinson goal that we Lincoln's fans see regularly because that's the kind of player he is. So he's a game changer.
Yeah. In Haji's defense too, the section that he came over and put his hand up, we were all right there.
Okay. So maybe it was
top, and then
Lincoln fans.
Pat Payton was there, Dunny was there. There's a nice
group
of
he knew where
Lincoln
Chess
fans.
was. We knew he was going there.
Of course.
They talk on the bench. Where's Chess?
Not me. I don't think it's me. It's the other one.
We'll get a shout out on the podcast. We got to know where Chess is.
Hey, and speaking of the podcast, my goodness, Shanker, we've got a guy coming at you for views on TikTok. Halser's interview with Coach Bradley before the game is blowing up on social medias. They really enjoyed that. And it was funny because I was asking Rhett, I said, how come you only reposted Halser's interview with Coach Bradley? Why didn't you put the Warriors one on with Coach Williams? And he goes, nah. And I said to him, I said, wow, tough crowd, Rhett. But Halser said, Razor, he's never going to put a Warriors
tunnel vision
thing on. Yeah, exactly.
Tunnel vision.
He's like a thoroughbred. He's got the tunnel vision.
You don't get to be a super fan by posting videos of other teams.
So that was awesome.
Yeah, I was sad to miss the game. I was following along, and then I thought, oh, okay, 2-2 after the second. Then I flicked my phone back on. I'm like, I just missed 4 goals in 5 minutes. What the hell's going on down there? But yeah, it's good to see. Lots of goals.
It's good for the two towns. It's good for the teams. Like it's hopefully at some point in the playoffs, these two teams meet up because my goodness, like
that's what we need, man. We need a playoff series to get a real rivalry going here, and hopefully it happens this year.
Yeah, and Halser, you had a good point there on final thoughts about the burgeoning rivalry forming between the two teams, and a lot of people have been making comments about that on social media too. If you didn't see it, go back on our socials and check out our little clip there that Halser talked about the two teams before the game. So tell us about your Saturday win. You guys got another 2 points. You went into Strathroy. Booth Houseco again between the pipes. He stops 34 of 37. You guys outshoot him 37-26. But it wasn't as easy of a win as it maybe could have been. You guys got up 2 goals, and then what happened then?
Yeah, it was. I was a little surprised they started Colby again. But I think they wanted to get his confidence up. I don't know if they were. I don't think Kobe was probably thrilled with his game Friday night in Stratford, and I wouldn't be shocked if he asked to go back in on Saturday night. To be honest with you, I think he wanted that game just to get himself back in the groove, and much better, stronger performance. Even though the goals against was still a little higher than maybe we all want it to be, but Friday a lot more shots got him in the game. He did make some really good saves. But yeah, we had. Halser's talked about it a bit lately. We had another really good start on Saturday night. We've been doing that through this 12-game streak. That the starts have been much better than they were the first 15 games of the season, right? So yeah, McCauley got his 7th right off the bat, a minute 14 in on the power play. I believe Strathroy took a violation, some sort of violation to start the game on the penalty kill. Some of these penalties that you see to start the game, I don't know what the heck happened. It's just they don't tell you. It just says on the score sheet.
Yeah, it just said delay a game. I don't know.
Yeah, delay a game. I don't know what they did, but I've seen a few of those this year where you're like, okay. Anyways, we'll take it. We got the power play from McCollum right off the bat, and then Zinger came in and got his 10th. About a minute and a half later. And there was our good start, right? Up 2-0 and quick and early on the road, and that's what you want, right? And then, they did get a couple before the end of the period to make it a 1-goal game, and then Declan Reddy got his 9th, and then they did answer late. So I think we were 3-2 after the first, right? So, Strathroy made they made some big changes at the trade deadline. They've been changing their lineup a little bit for the last 2 months too, and they're fighting for their playoff lives here, right? Like they're going to be that 8, 9, 7 spot, and they're trying to get in, and they're playing hard. I think we beat them 10-3, didn't we, about a month ago, Halser?
Yeah,
it was an ugly game.
Best effort, but
otherwise. So they had a much better game on a Saturday night, competitive, hard. Like they played hard too. There's a lot of physicality in that game. Something we don't.
They outshot you guys. Like what's surprising is I look at the numbers. They outshot you guys 37-26, including 19-9 in the third period.
Yeah,
and the guys leading it are the guys that Rhett and Halser have been talking about ever since they brought their names up. Jake Ritson and LeBlanc. Ritson's got 33 assists. He's a rookie, for Pete's sakes.
He's an 09, man.
Yeah. And LeBlanc, he had his 23rd goal of the year there in the third period to make it 4-3. But those two guys are red hot for the Rockets right now.
Yeah, that's their big line. And, if you can keep that big line off the score sheet, your chances are pretty good. But it's tough to keep them off the score sheet. They're super talented. I think Ritson is a Knights draft pick, if I'm not wrong. If I think I'm right.
Yeah, I forget.
Wouldn't be surprised if he's on the Knights
I'm not
next year. To be
sure.
honest with you. So,
Yeah, it
but
could
yeah,
very well be a one and done.
yeah. So, second period, right? Weir got one about halfway through to get us back up 2. And then, LeBlanc got one for the Rockets in the third, but they couldn't get the next one. So I think Ryan had 4 points, right? Ryan Hodgkinson, like you said, Halser, he had 4 assists on Saturday night.
It's crazy.
On top of the 2 goals Friday night. So not a bad weekend for him, right?
Yeah, he's the kid's playing lights out, and good on him. Like Halser was talking with Bradley before the game and just said, the kid was dealt a shitty hand, and man, oh man, has he responded. And good on him. It's nice to see him, taking a bad situation and channeling all that energy and frustration into something positive. So good on you, Haji.
Well, and just to tell you what kind of a kid he is, now you should go and watch the interview if you haven't seen it yet. But one thing that Brad said to me is that he came into the room and his first question was making sure everybody else was okay. And that, that I think, that really stood out for me in that whole interview. It's always great talking to Coach Bradley. He's such a smart hockey guy, and he's, he's an open book. But when he told me that, obviously I have a high regard for the young man as it is, but when you're going through that and your first thought is making sure your teammates are okay, going through the trauma, that it tells you all you need to know about that young man's character.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, and shout out to Maddox Chaput, Stratford boy, made his GOHL debut on Saturday night on the centering the 4th line with the Lynx.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I forgot.
I remember seeing him in training camp and look good with them at the Rotary Complex.
Stratford, right? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, him and his brother are tearing up the U18 Lakers. They're a couple points a night, those two. So they got a nice future ahead of them yet. And just to mention too, Oliver Lacko from the Lynx got hit high in the.
How's he doing?
Not good. So I don't think we'll see Oliver this weekend for sure. And we'll go from there. But he got his bell rung pretty good there Friday night. So that's why Maddox was up in Strathroy to help us up with our forwards on Saturday night. So we're wishing Oliver all the best. Hopefully he gets well real soon.
Yeah, absolutely. 4-point weekend for you guys. You're now tied for second with the Sugar Kings. You both have 54 points. You both played. You got identical stats: 34 games played, 26 wins, 6 losses. And you guys are on a 12-0-1 streak, and you're 10-0 in your last 10 games. Like, you guys are on fire. Stratford, they're in 5th with 48 points, 33 games played, 22 wins, 7 losses, 2 overtime losses, 2 shootout losses. They're on an 0-1 streak after losing to you guys Friday. They didn't play any other games this weekend. And they're 6-3-1 in their last 10. And so just quickly, the top 5 teams, you got Chatham in first with 57. You guys and Elmira second at 54. London at 51, and then Stratford at 48. Stratford's got 5 games in hand on Chatham, 3 in hand on London, and only 1 on you guys in Elmira. So looking forward.
Chatham's played 38 games.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about them coming up with Rhett's Roundup with their big win over the Sugar Kings there on the weekend. So interesting to hear what Rhetster has to say about that game. But I hope the boys, your carload, liked everything when you came over, Chester. And
we did. Yeah. We didn't get a chance to come over and see you. It seemed like every intermission I was in the middle of about 3 other conversations and everything. So one guy in my car was able to get over and grab a beer, but
well, that's what happens when you're a local boy and you come back to your hometown, right? With all your St. Mary's buddies. So
yeah, we were talking about that. I was standing with Razor and I ran into God knows how many people I haven't seen in how long. So it's always good to see some old friends and people I know from the rink. And there's still that love in Stratford. There still is.
Absolutely.
We missed you, Shanker. You can't be going on holidays down in the sunny south when big games are on at the Almond. So you got to organize that a little better next time.
Yeah, I got to look at the schedule first. And Super
Hey,
Bowl
hon,
Sunday.
I
That's another one.
gotta see when St. Mary's is in town before we book this flight to Mexico. So
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I loved being at that hockey game, but I would have rather been in Mexico.
Hey,
so
do we
would
have
I.
any
It
poll?
would have been a little bit cheaper at the bar, that's for sure, than
Oh,
having to pay
absolutely.
for all the
Yeah,
beer and wings now. So
I think you drink less on vacation, don't you, Razor?
well, it's all inclusive.
Hey, do we have any?
Uh,
Can we get any poll with the league to maybe move the game up to 1:00 on Super Bowl
Oh my
Sunday?
gosh.
Yeah, Clarkie's gonna get it moved to 1:00. So we're no, he's not. They have no say whatsoever.
No.
But yeah, not the most ideal time. 4:30 on Super Bowl Sunday. So
Now
I will
that's
give a shout out
bad
to them
scheduling.
though, in the fact that their chicken dinner is that same day, starting at 3:00. So whether
Yeah.
that, if you were planning on going to the game, get the Joe's Diner chicken dinner, because I had it last year with St. Mary's and it is worth the price. So it's not a bad way to get your Super Bowl meal in, to be honest with you. Even if you don't go to the game, go to the dinner and raise some money and have a good chicken dinner.
absolutely. All right, Chester.
Yeah. So
Appreciate you coming on. Good luck this weekend. You guys got the Vipers
Sal.
there on Wednesday. And then who do you got coming in? Oh, the
Waterloo.
Siskins. Yeah, you got
Waterloo, that should be a
coming
good
in
game.
on
I think-
Friday. So
Yeah, I think that'll be a really high-spirited game. They always are with Waterloo, and I got another team that's fighting for their playoff lives. They're in pretty good shape right now. They're sitting 5th or 6th, so they should be all right. But they're going to be a tough team down the road, and they're still wanting revenge from the playoffs last year. So that should be a dandy. And then, of course, the big roadie to LaSalle Wednesday night. Those are tough games. You never know what you're going to get, right? Bunch of kids on a bus for 2.5 hours. So we're hoping for the best.
Well, good luck with that. We look forward to hearing how those games went next week. So
Sounds
Chris
good, boys.
Chessel with Chester's Perch. We'll be back with Rhett Chessel doing Rhett's Roundup, and then we'll finish off with Dave Graff with Chew on That. We'll be right back.
Rhett's Roundup, sponsored by Deal Sports Group, specializing in custom teamwear, uniforms, and apparel such as hockey, baseball, soccer, volleyball, basketball, and more. Our online stores are used mainly as a fundraising platform. We create custom designs for clothing and hard goods. They're purchased through the DSG website and shipped to the team organizer. A 20% kickback is given to the association or individual team. We also sell promotional corporate apparel and hard goods and offer many different decoration options that include embroidery, DTF prints, sublimation, twill, leather patched, and a lot more.
All righty then. We got Rhett's Roundup with Rhett Chessel. How are you, buddy?
What's up, Razor? How are you?
Not too badly.
Good.
Have you got all that champagne smell off your clothes from Friday night's win, or?
Not at all. No, still there.
Well, you guys earned it. That was a big win for you guys. So
Yeah.
what did you and your buddies think of that game?
Well, I thought it was quite the odd game. I thought the puck was just bouncy all the time. But the first period, it was very defensive game. I think their shots were 4-5 or something like that, and Lincoln Moore scored for us, and then Wild Fong, as you guys touched on in the last segment. So, it was a really good game, but I thought the third period was a whole different game. I was quite shocked with how many goals were scored, and I thought, the defense was pretty bad on both teams. But what can you do? We won, so it doesn't matter.
Well, I got a bone to pick with you. I was telling the guys on the last segment that I asked you why you didn't put the Warriors interview that I had with Dave Williams, and you're like, nah.
Nah. Why would I? I'm a super fan, bro. Come on. I literally get Stratford every day for school, so I don't like the Warriors. So.
Well, it went from you being doing viral talks when you were talking about your Dodgers there back in the fall,
Right.
and then Schenker stole your thunder when he was talking about AAA hockey and that conversation with the dad in Mississauga, and now Halser's stealing Schenker's thunder, getting all these hits on TikTok. So good for you
Good.
guys. That's
Yep.
awesome.
Yep.
It just shows that we're talking about topics that resonate with people. So we appreciate everyone that tunes in,
Yep.
texts, and shows a little bit of excitement looking at our clips and reels. So okay, let's
Absolutely.
get into the Chatham Maroons take down the Elmira Sugar Kings in Elmira on Saturday night. Chatham takes them down 5-3. Elmira outshot Chatham 35-32. De Blasi, very strong game. I was looking at the highlights there, and especially in the second period when Elmira was really swarming him. He stopped 32 of 35, ended up with a 914 save percentage.
Chatham's up early in the game with Ewan McChesney scoring, and then Dylan Richter, who's just a point per game kind of guy, and then Brennan Gerber and Brady Schwint towards the end of the period hit a goal, and then second period there's only one goal. Aiden Edwards, assisted by Santiago Jimenez, to make it, I believe, 3-2 for Chatham, and then
Yep.
in the third period, Richter again gets his 10th by Carter Chadwick and Ian LaChance. And then again, towards the end of the period, Lucas Nutting, assisted by Schwint and Ratcliffe. And then Chatham responds right back. Matthew Crawford, his first this season, by Xander Aiken and Bo Dockstader.
Yeah.
So it seems like it was a good game. De Blasi played well. They've been slumping, and I will note that Chatham did lose yesterday, 6-5 to the St. Thomas Stars, which is a bit of a shock.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
It just
Mhm.
goes to show you any given Sunday. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I was watching the highlights. I'll just quickly go through them. Like McChesney's first goal, he roofed it in close over Liam Reed's glove. It was a nice pass from Harding to get it to him in tight, and that put him up 1-0. And then, like you said, Richter had a shorty there on a breakaway. He went forehand, backhand, and then 5-hole on the deke right through Reed's pads. Reed didn't have a good game. He only stopped 27 of 32 for an 843 save percentage. In 8 seconds, Elmira tied the game up. First, you had Gerber on a shorty. They had a nice alley-oop play from Elmira's own end, basically the goal line, all the way up to Chatham's blue line. And that's when Gerber went in, and he was all alone on De Blasi. And then after he scored, go and watch the highlights. Gerber goes over to the glass the way that Hodkinson did. But the difference is a couple of Chatham guys were skating by, and Gerber just like puffed his chest out, and I forget which Maroon that he hit, but he hit him on the shoulder, and then a ruckus started. There wasn't any fighting or anything, but just pissed off the Maroons, especially after they had just given up a shorty. And then Schwint, 8 seconds later, right off the draw, pushes it forward, splits the D, goes in, and dekes out De Blasi, and the game was tied 2-2. So you got to go and watch those highlights. Edwards' goal was a weak goal on Reed, squeezed it, blocker side. But then, like I said, De Blasi, strong game. He robbed Gravel right on the doorstep. And just, Halser, you said it. You saw him there in St. Mary's last game, and he had a really strong game, and he had a back-to-back strong games against two of the three top teams and in St. Mary's and Elmira, and hopefully this kid can keep that train going along.
Well, his problems thus far has been consistency, and so that's the reason they didn't pick up a goalie at the deadline. Is that they believe in De Blasi, and if he ever starts doing this regularly, he's gonna be dangerous.
Yeah, Schenker.
How many times do you see both teams 0 for 10 on the power play and then 3 straight shorthanded goals?
Yeah.
What a first period. And that Dylan Richter, he's on a heater right now. And I said it before, if he comes back, That's going to keep that Chatham team going. Like without him, they're nothing. They need Richter healthy, and they're cooking now.
Yeah. Yeah, they're looking really, really good. And like we've talked about before, Richter's the straw that stirs their drink. And so
Yep.
I even had one of the guys, I won't reveal who he was, but I had a Chatham Maroon reach out to me just to clarify some stuff that we said on our podcast there last week when we were talking about the guys that Chatham picked up. And so we appreciate that. You know, we're just going off the information off the GOHL website. And if that site isn't right, please DM us and give us the information that is. So I appreciate the forward that DM'd me and it was really good about it. You know, he wasn't a jerk or anything. He just corrected me on a few things and really appreciated that. So shout out to him. He knows who he is. So he also said that Finn Wilson left the Nationals to go out west. So
Interesting.
Yeah, just wanted to throw that out. But yes, well, I'm going to let you go, Retster. We got a national championship game coming up in 10 minutes, and we still got to fit Graffer in here. He's sitting on the sidelines, so appreciate you coming on, brother, and look forward to talking to you next week, buddy.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
All right, Rhett Chessel from Rhett's Roundup. We'll hear from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with Dave Graff.
Chew on that with Graffer. Brought to you by Work Pub and Eatery. Get a taste of tradition and charm in our family-run pub. From hearty dishes to cold drinks, we've got everything to make your visit memorable. Located at 75 Wellington Street, Stratford.
Yes, guy. Dave Graff's in the house.
How's it going tonight, boys?
Good. Have you recovered from that debacle yesterday, Graffer? Or
Saturday?
Yeah, or Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, I've recovered. As you can see, I'm still wearing the gear. I'm having a hard time being loyal, you know, with obviously what happened today, which we can talk about too. But
when this comes out, we'll probably get it out tomorrow night. But Sean McDermott was fired today. Yeah. And I wonder if John Harbaugh's wondering, geez,
I know,
could have had Maxon Dart or Josh Allen as my quarterback, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how they do. But
for sure.
What are your thoughts on the game? Where do you want to start with this topic?
You know, I saw what you guys saw, and it's, you know, Bills fans see it differently than others, and you can look at this from so many ways. You can look at it from blaming Buffalo Bill, like blaming the quarterback, blaming coach's decision. You can look at getting the raw deal with officiating. You know, you can look at a lot of things that just didn't go Buffalo's way, and that's the way the cookie crumbles when it comes to any sport, right? But you can't turn the ball over 5 times. The bottom line is you can't turn the ball over 5 times and win in the NFL. Not saying they were Josh's fault, or, you know, when Cook fumbled the ball, they're going down there to potentially go up by 2 scores early in the game. They got all the momentum. He got knocked in the next week. Like, what a hit by I didn't catch the Bronco that hit him. We were actually, they said I was playing hockey this weekend, so we were sitting at the casino bar there in Niagara watching it on the big screen. Great place to watch the game, but you don't hear a lot. You don't hear a lot of the audio, so I missed some of the names and stuff. But what a hit to, you know, how do you fault Cook there? It's just a great football play by the defender. He knocked him in the next week and the ball came out. You know, that's one if and buts if Buffalo goes in and scores there. Allen's short pass on his first interception, get some more air under that. That's just a bad pass by the quarterback. You know, Allen got rocked on the 3rd turnover. Or maybe that was the 4th, I guess, by that point. Or no, I guess the 3rd was the one at the halftime. And you know, that's the picture I got up there in the background with the ball circled in red there. Like, what is he doing? First of all, any coach in his right mind, and I love Sean McDermott, I'll get to that. I love the guy. I think he's a great coach. But first of all, with no timeouts left in 22 seconds and you get the ball coming out of the half, take a fucking knee. Come on. Let's be real here. Like, come on, right? I know you want to find lightning in a bottle because you want to be within 4 at halftime, maybe even tied. You know, Patrick Mahomes did it to them with 13 seconds and 2 timeouts. years ago, obviously. I don't know what McDermott was thinking there. I just didn't agree with that. And then Allen running the ball like that. But like we're yelling as a millisecond before the fumble, tuck the ball in. Like he's waving it like some
Yeah.
kids are waiting to bang the pinata and get all the candy. Like, come on. Like, and just that right there is my point. That right there is my point. I said it twice this year after the Pats first game and after the trade deadline. I said, this team, with just all the way things go against them, and the fact that Josh and Sean, and in essence, Sean, the coach, the fact they've never even got to the big one. The thing is, we said, are they even a divisional round team? And they did get there. They beat a real solid Jacksonville team last week, and kudos to them. And they got there, right? But listen, Josh Allen is the leader by far with 8 wins to never make it to a Super Bowl. I think Rivers, Brunell, and Danny White of the 70s and 80s Cowboys, for crying out loud, I think the 3 of them are second with 5 playoff wins, never to make a Super Bowl. Sean McDermott, 8 wins as a coach, never to make it. Bum Phillips and a whole bunch of other guys had 7 and never made the Super Bowl. It just signifies what Buffalo's all about. They just are those lovable losers that in the early 90s and again the last 7 or 8 years have had a great football club. They can't win the big one. And Josh Allen, again, is a great guy, a super talent, a great player. He just can't win the big one. He can't win the AFC to even get to the big one, and Saturday was another example of that. Whether the turnovers are on him or not, there was 5 turnovers. And it's to only lose by 3 in overtime and get the bad luck of that call going against you on the pick.
Oh,
Just
yeah, with
another
Jaquan McMillan ripping it out of Cooks' arms.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys that right now quick. Do we know what down by contact is if there is a frozen frame of that replay? And again, I'm a Bills fan, so it's easy for me to ask this. And Halls, are same thing with you. What is down by contact when there seemed to be a frame where Cook had the ball still with the McMillan's hand on him before he reached in with the 2 and grabbed it out? I don't blame the referees, by the way. That's all happening so fast.
Sure.
But the fact that every turnover is looked at by the league, and the fact that the referee didn't put the headset, to me, I don't care if you're a Bills fan or not. I think that's wrong. And I think McDermott had that point after when he was standing up for Buffalo. Get the fucking headset on and let's get this right.
Yeah.
And maybe the ref would have ruled it's a pick, and that's fair. But I don't know. What do you think, Halser? I don't know.
Well, we saw the exact, not exact, a similar play the next night. We were talking about it earlier with Devontae Adams.
Oh, right.
And all I know is this, to your point about the speed that it happened, a play like that isn't going to get overturned. They're going to stick with whatever the referee decided on the field because there wasn't a whole lot of evidence one way or the other, to be honest with you.
Right.
You're just not going to get that call back. I forget the name. I think it was Blundell or whatever his name is, the referee on the broadcast. He agreed with the call, but I'm not sure that I always buy into that. If they're not 100% sure the call is wrong, they'll generally agree with the guys, that they probably refereed with in the past. So to be honest with you, my issue wasn't that call. My issue was the penalty.
Yes,
I agree. And the fact that if you look like, and now to be clear, Trey White, that's a penalty.
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
I was angry about that pick. I was less angry about the pick than I was about the fact that he stuck his hand in there early and there was no call. And I say, okay, I didn't make a big deal about it at the time because they've been letting that stuff go. But when you watch that and it turns into a pick and then you watch it on the other end and then they call a flag and ostensibly end the game on the call, that's what got me hot. It's 100% a penalty, but it was also a penalty 5 minutes ago at the other end. And that's
what about the Cooks running into the end zone earlier in the game? And he was the exact same thing. The Denver defender had his arm on Cooks's arm. Now, Cooks let up, and if he would have just kept running.
The thing about that, though, is that if you look at the last few plays of the game, what was it? Take the snap, throw the ball up into the air, and try and draw a penalty.
That's all he was trying to do.
And that's what pisses me off about. They are clearly fishing for a foul.
Fishing
Yeah.
for the
And you
PI.
gave it to them. And
Fishing
that's
for the
why I'm
PI.
pissed off. That's all they were doing. Watch the end of that game. He threw the ball a half mile in the air to have his guy make a play or draw a foul. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it
I
just
agree.
turned the end of the game into just some joke. And that's why I'm pissed off.
I like the word you use there, fishing halls. You're right. They put the ball up fishing for the PI. That's all they were doing.
Did.
Yeah.
And they got it and they won the game. And that's the new NFL. I mean, you just go fishing for a penalty and boom, you win the game. It just, listen, the Buffalo Bills are the best team on the planet at finding ways to lose. And this is just another way that they did it. But Jesus Christ, they don't need any goddamn help from the officials.
Yeah, you're right.
I said the same thing. We're all watching the game at the bar, and I said, like hockey, you can't not call anything for a full period. Then when it comes to crunch time, oh, we're going to call a couple penalties here just to decide the outcome.
Yeah,
like
when the same stuff wasn't called the previous 3 or 4 times.
5 minutes earlier
for both teams.
I agree.
Like I said, I fully admit it was a penalty, but it wasn't a penalty 10 minutes prior to that.
Right.
Well, the thing that ticked me off is that yet again, you know, they're like the unloved brother, where every call went against Buffalo. Like there was the Cooks in the end zone where he stopped running and he had the arm on him. No call, no foul on that. Then you had the one that you were talking about, Halls, where they're falling to the ground and he gets it ripped out from him. That goes Denver's way. You had the one on Tre'Davious White, you know, that it 100%. That was a penalty.
Yep.
But where if you didn't say that Cook survived the ground, if you're saying that, okay, let's just say that, you know, that was true and that's the way it happened. You can't tell me that Mims, with 55 seconds left, when he caught it for Denver in the end zone, he did not survive the ground. When you watch the replay, the ball hits the ground and juggles it. That should have been an incomplete pass. So every call, and this isn't sour grapes just because I like the Bills for my AFC team, but it's just they always seem to get the calls against them. Yeah. They always seem to be on the wrong side of the call, right? Whether it's KC or it's, you know, Denver, they're on the wrong side of the calls. And if you were going to fire McDermott, fire him 4 years ago for falling asleep in the final 13 seconds at Arrowhead, right? Today was not his fault. They should have fired Brandon Bean, is the guy 100%. That should have been fired today.
100%.
And it's going to be interesting because all the players are all pissed off that he's at least a lot of them have gone on social media saying, you've got to be kidding me. Like Sean McDermott is not the problem with our team, but
and to that point, Razor, that was my next thing with what I was going to talk about. And I'd like some feedback there. Like you said it, you know, McDermott, he's been since that time 4 years ago. I put him up there, maybe a top 5 coach in the league.
Absolutely.
But I also agree. I think Halls, you said it on our chat today, or Shanker, one of you said about, you know, it is time for a new voice. And I really like putting it that way because you want to add to that. Hey, it's a results oriented business, and they're as well as they've done to get to where they get every year. It doesn't matter. You got to win the big one and at least get to the big one. And they haven't even done that. But Sean McDermott, in my opinion, took a team with no upper echelon pass rusher, a cobbled together fucking secondary, just a god awful wide receiver group. And I'm not even going to try to sugarcoat that mess, you know, and between him and the guy that puts the cape on, again, we saw quite a bit of Griswold on Saturday, unfortunately, but you know, the guy that puts the cape on a lot too, and is a great quarterback in the league. Between him and Sean McDermott, they took that team down to the final 8. Again, it sucks. And we talked about the bad luck and the calls, but it really sucks that they didn't get to next weekend. I'll be quite honest. I think the AFC final is a freaking joke. And, you know, maybe I'm not a Bo Nix fan, but even if he didn't break the ankle, I'm just not a fan. I struggle with losing to a team led by Bo Nix. Did he not spend about 8 years in college with the COVID and everything? Because he wasn't good enough to come out. And he's done okay in Denver. I get that. I'm not knocking the guy that way. I guess he's done okay in Denver, and he's a mature college guy coming out in his second year now, and good for him. He did what he had to do to win the football game. But for Brandon Beane, I just looked up the stats. 2 guys have made the Pro Bowl since Josh Allen was drafted. James
Right.
Cook and Dawson Knox. 2 guys he's
2
drafted have made a Pro Bowl.
out of
But yet-
I think it's like 56 players.
56 guys he's drafted.
Yeah.
56 players, 2 have made the Pro Bowl. Now, but then you get thinking, and I think you guys will agree somewhat, they're going into that new stadium. They want stability. And he's the guy at the management level. And, now let's make him president too. So now let's give
So he
another-
gets a promotion.
He gets the promotion, but I think that's
failing to
a
do
lot to
his
do with
job.
the new stadium. I think it's the new stadium myself. And you're right, Razor. And McDermott loses his job. Like
That
I
just
don't
makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
The hardest part about it for the Bills is that they didn't have to go through Mahomes, they didn't have to go through Lamar, and they didn't have to go through Joe Burrow.
I know. Yeah, Bo
That's what
Trevor
really
Lawrence,
stings.
Bo Nix. Yeah. And Drake
Right?
May's going to be tough. Drake would have been tough, but I think they could have. It's easy to say now, but
Yeah.
it's always
Yeah,
easy to
it's-
say when they're done. But they probably would have given New England a good go.
It's-
Listen, wasn't the most embarrassing thing on Saturday night because we were at the casino watching, so you can imagine this going on, right? With Talisman.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got to play at 8:00. So we get back to the Gale Center in Niagara, and I'm all pumped to get out there because I'm like, I don't want to let these guys down.
Right.
So I get out there late, like I'm the last guy out. I got the phone on. I'm watching the Bills game on my phone as I'm walking to the bench because I think it was right before the pick that I set it on the back of the bench. And as I did that, I got yelled at. Winger's coming off. I got to go. Jump out in the ice, flat on my face. Still had the sleeves on my feet. Still had the sleeves on my blades. So I'm sitting there like a fish out of water, right? I get the one off, and then for some reason I stood up to get the other one off. Well, down I go again. So then the next shift, I lost my neck guard you had to wear neck guards. I lost it a couple of times already. So I lose it again in the slot in their zone. So I go back in to pick it up, and our guys hold off. I'm holding on to my neck guard, my left hand. I strip their guy trying to come out, go in and deke the goalie. And as I put the puck in the net, I drop the neck guard and slip on it, and I flail into the corner after I score the goal.
This is all on video, right?
Well, one of the guys said he's going to check out with somebody that's got that rink barn, see if he can't find the video of all this.
That's hilarious.
As bad as it was to see the Billies lose, it wasn't the worst. Wasn't the most embarrassing thing that happened Saturday. Anyway, so. But
well.
no, I'm staying true to the Billies, and you got to stick with them. They're our team, and someday, I really feel for Sean McDermott. I got to give a shout out to him. He come to the podium and spoke real well Saturday and Sunday, and stood up for Buffalo. And it sucks that he's gone, but I think they both should have gone. But I really feel because of that new stadium, that's why the GM's still there.
Yeah.
Well,
You can't say he's still there
when they
because of
don't-
his record.
Right.
When the GM doesn't address anything at the trade deadline, you have to do something. Give your two first-round picks away. Get Waddle in to help out Josh Allen. That's why I don't that's why I don't agree with Beane staying, because he screwed up.
Yeah. And Myers went to Jacksonville and became Trevor's almost more of a favorite than Thomas. And I don't even think Beane made a pitch for him. Could have had him for probably a third and a fourth. Whatever.
Yeah.
Ifs and buts again, right, guys? Ifs and buts.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just,
It could be
you're
noted
right,
they
though.
scored 30 points,
Yeah.
So we're talking about the offense, but they did score 30 points.
Hey, and what did we say? Cook ran for 117. He was the leading rusher on the weekend. I think he ran for more than the whole Denver team almost. Yeah. Like they did some good things on Saturday.
At the end of the day, though, to the point about the coach, okay, 16 seconds left in the half. They just scored.
They were down 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
The start they had, I thought, was perfect. They went down, stopped them, gave up a field goal, scored a touchdown, got a stop. On their way in for another score, Cook drops the ball.
Yes.
They walk down and score. So instead of 14-3, it's 10-7 for Denver.
Yeah.
So it's putting pressure on everybody. But they gave up the touchdown, and then 16 seconds, they kneel down, and that kick at the end of the game is a game winner, not a game tire.
You're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is not the first time that they've lost the game because of questionable coaching. And I really want to tell the story about that 13 seconds game. Everybody knows what happened. I'm not going to relive it. I traumatized enough. Thank you very much. But what's really interesting to me is they went back to the studio and they had Tony Dungy in the studio.
Yeah.
And he came on, he said, and they went to him right away and said, Coach, what would you have done? And Dungy says, no, the NFL's not going to like me saying this, but I would have told every one of my defensive players to tackle the guy in front of him and sit on him. And everybody stop for a second to think about what that means. There's 13 seconds left. You're trying to find somebody to throw to. Everybody's sitting on a guy that you're allowed to throw to. So what is that? That's a 5-yard penalty. And 8 seconds of the fifth 13 have burnt off.
Right.
And so Tony Dungy thought of it.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
the Bills
you could have done the
staff
kickoff
didn't
different too. Yeah.
They could have done, you know what I mean? It's so when you look at those two games, and I won't get into all of them, but there were very winnable games. And Saturday was definitely one of them. You sit there and you go, my God, they had like 4 or 5 different opportunities to win that game.
Even with 5 turnovers. Yeah.
Even with the turnovers.
Yeah.
And they still got down. I mean, if Josh doesn't miss Kincaid in overtime in the red zone, then that's a catch at the 10-yard line and the game's over.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about this. We're talking about Superman.
Yeah.
And the coach still has his job. One pass gets completed. That's the line. But at the end of the day, I did some checking on this guy, and he's 98-50 career. 98-50. But more importantly, in 1999, the Bills made the playoffs, and they went down to play Tennessee, and that's where the Music City Miracle happened.
The miracle.
And not only did we have to sit on that, we had to sit on that for 18 goddamn years until Sean McDermott came along and got them into the playoffs. Not Josh. They made the playoffs before Josh was the starter.
Tyrod Taylor.
Right?
Yeah.
So it was McDermott that turned this franchise around. The last 7 years, he's like 83-27 in the regular season.
Yeah.
That's almost 700 winning percentage.
Yeah.
5 division championships.
5 division championships. 7 consecutive years of double-digit wins.
Yeah.
8-8 in the playoffs. So I thought, let's make a comparison. Let's look at Andy Reid, the Chiefs. Their record over that same stretch is 4 games better than Buffalo. 4 games better over 7 years. So virtually an identical regular season record. What's their record in the playoffs over the last 7 years? 16-3.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And even if you take out the 3 years that they won the Super Bowl, they're still 6-3 in years they didn't win the Super Bowl. So even in years that they didn't win the Super Bowl, their record is better than McDermott's in the playoffs. Yeah. So at the end of the day, Brandon Beane, you could argue one way or the other, but he deserves a chance to find another coach to see if he's the one that can take this team over that last hump.
Well,
the
he
pressure
owes
on
it
this
to
team
that.
is crazy.
He owes it to whoever that guy is to get him some more fucking help too.
Exactly.
In my opinion.
But I mean, like I said, those are winnable games. We talk about more help, and that's fair. But a couple of years ago, they had one of the best, like a top 3 defense in the league, and then walked into Kansas City and gave up 40 points. Okay.
Yeah.
Like it's time to give someone else a chance to get this group over the hump.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right, Graffer. Appreciate you coming on. We weren't sure. We didn't know if we were going to have to get out defibrillators for you and Halser after that loss Saturday. But
I might have needed them on Saturday for myself, but not because of the football game.
I love that team, but they're going to rob me of my old age, man.
Yeah, I hear you. Hey, I hear you. We'll have to watch a game together sometime, Halser. You should.
No, I don't think we should. I don't think the room survives.
No.
There's a reason I watch playoff football by myself.
See who breaks
now
more.
You have Clarky bragging about his Pats.
That's good for Clark.
Well, that's the thing is that now the Pats are going to the Super Bowl, and no sane, reasonable person wants that.
Yeah,
no,
they got a clear path now.
I like Drake May. I'm not gonna lie. I like Drake May. I like the kid.
Yeah, it seems like
he
a
played
good
for
guy.
my Tar Heels.
Yeah. All right.
Okay,
Big Graf from Chew on That.
Thanks, work boys.
We'll be back with final thoughts and a little word from our sponsors. Thanks, Graffer.
Railside Organics, Stratford's first and only Indigenous owned and operated organic dispensary, located at 29 Monteith Avenue, serving those in need with holistic remedies. Come say hi to Curly and his staff and see why everyone is recommending Railside Organics. Call Bick Heating and Cooling for all your heating, cooling, and plumbing needs. Proud Rude Pro partner. BickHeatCool.com or 226-921-4848. Your home team specialists. Taking care of Stratford and area since 2013. Vreda Veld Painting. Servicing Stratford and surrounding area. With over 20 years of experience to help you with all your painting and decorating needs. On time and on budget.
Okay, final thoughts. Schenker, we'll start with you. What's on your mind this week?
I'm just going to give a shout out to the Toronto Raptors. They became the third team in NBA history to only score less than 40 points in a half of basketball. They put up 39 last night in the second half against the Lakers.
Oh,
so it's not a good shout out to them, but
no,
it is what it is.
Halzer, your final thoughts.
Well, I just some more baseball stuff. I just want to let everybody know, but by the time this comes out on Wednesday, it'll be 4 weeks till the pitchers and catchers report. So, as is the case every winter, we watch a couple of playoff football games, then we get in a bad mood, and then we watch and wait until baseball starts. So that's the life of a Bills fan. So 4 weeks from Wednesday, first day for spring training, baby. Let's go.
All right. My final thoughts. I just want to say that I really feel bad for guys like Josh Allen and CJ Stroud after 2 gut-wrenching losses on the weekend. I can only imagine not only how they feel, but how they feel like they've let down their cities and their fans by what happened there on the weekend. And it's got to feel like the world's ending and it's all your fault. But I put on our social medias today, it reminded me of a scene from Rocky VI where Rocky Balboa is talking to his son. And I'm just going to read the quote that he says in the movie because it's so powerful. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place. And I don't care how tough you are. It'll beat you down and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is going to get hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you get hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much can you take and keep moving forward? That's how winning is done. And so on that note, just remember, folks, you matter. For Ian Schenk and Brian Hawley, I'm Gary Ray, and you are listening to the Unmuzzled Sports Podcast. We'll see you next week.
Cheers, folks.
See you, everyone.